what's good, everybody? Relatively Speaking Pod, episode 20, back in your life on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, about 11 o'clock here in Reading.
11:10, actually.
66 degrees, sunny.
69 degrees.
No, it's 66.
68 degrees.
Okay, you just rounded up. Lovely day for us. You'll be hearing this podcast on a Friday. Hopefully it's still lovely.
Hopefully you have a beer in your hand when you're watching it. That's my hope and prayer for you as our listeners, is you're enjoying something good when you're watching us sit here and talk. And obviously we have coffee now, and Hudson brought me a piece of key lime
cheesecake.
Key lime cheesecake.
Key lime cheesecake bar.
That Sip made that is...
We're going to get a little live reaction.
It's very good. I've had it
eating
before, but it's quite good. So we'll get into that here shortly. But the weather's changing.
I know, it's wonderful. Haven't lived here in the spring, so excited to be here. You have talked glowingly about springs in Reading. I am definitely starting to see that. Yesterday afternoon, after gymnastics, about this time, we were just kind of chilling at the house and went outside and sat in the backyard. Kids were running around shirtless, and we were sitting in our chairs. Sip had a blanket out. It was real nice. Sipping an iced coffee like I'm doing now.
Wow.
Lovely little Tuesday
Then
afternoon.
put the kids to bed and continued the party outside.
Ooh, outside, sir.
You got a tall fence.
Yeah, you got a tall piece too.
Not according to some people.
He didn't say anything about the piece. He just talked about my lack of height. So that was cool. Just got roasted by like a 3-year-old.
Oh my God.
Awesome, buddy.
Oh my God.
But yeah, let's while this thing is freaking cold.
Yeah.
Jay, take a bite of that thing and let's give it a live reaction
We'll zoom in here. So Jamie, make sure you get the close up on my face.
to what we got with this. Oh, you sent it. It was sitting out for a second. It's best when it's nice and cold.
Finish it.
You're not going to finish it?
I'm gonna finish it.
Oh, you better. Got to get a sip of that coffee. See, that was the issue. So when Sip made it the other night, when Sip made it the other night, it wasn't in the freezer long enough, so it was like a little melty.
God bless you, Cipriano. Wow.
But when it's frozen like that, you can really sink your teeth into it. It's glorious. Give it a little ranking. What do we got? 1 through 10. No rookie scores.
8.3.
8.3. Damn. Tough critic over here. Thought we might be in the 9s here, my guy.
You said the only issue with that is how cold it is.
Yeah.
If it was in my mouth after it came out of the freezer,
Could have been even better.
9.1.
Okay. Nice. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that was real good. Appreciate the little sugar rush there. It's great.
wonderful.
Yeah, that was delicious treat. Thank you.
Anything new going on in this last week?
See, River got promoted at Rice Pros. Yes, on Monday actually.
Nice.
Yeah, they haven't. They don't usually go Mondays. They were going Tuesday, Thursday, but with football, we switched them to 1 day a week. But now Apple is going. She did her first class.
She did, right?
Yep.
I saw
And
the
so they
picture
normally
of her
don't
in her
go on
gi.
Monday, but they went Monday and River got promoted. So he's a 2-striper. So now him and Finn are both 2-stripers.
They went Monday because Apple's
Apple's
going to go
yeah.
on Mondays?
So they're going to go Monday, Tuesdays now instead of Tuesday, Thursday.
I thought that there wasn't a class for them or something. Wasn't that the issue?
There's always been a class for them. We just had always done Tuesday, Thursday because Mondays are pretty hectic for us.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so do
they need 3 stripes to change belt, or how does that work?
4
stripes?
4 stripes? I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure.
But he got his second stripe.
Well, he got 2 stripes at once.
Oh.
He didn't have any
I
stripes.
was confused by that in the text. I thought Sarah said that, but I thought maybe she didn't understand.
Yeah.
So he got 2 stripes at once. Mm-hmm. I wonder why they did that.
I think it has something to do with the way you rank up. So I think it's like you get 2 and 2 and then you move up.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not I'm not sure. I don't know how it works, but
Nice.
at
And
any
was there
rate,
something in particular that he did, or was it just kind of accumulation of where his skill is at now?
my understanding, and I don't know if it's this way in every gym, but at Rice Bros, it's obviously a proficiency thing, like that you're understanding the movements and that you're submitting people and all of that, but it's also perceived effort. Like, how hard is this kid working? Are they showing up? Are they coming to class and
Messing around.
dicking around
Yeah.
and playing grab ass with the other kid in the class? And Finn and Rib, for the most part, are pretty locked in when they're there.
Nice.
So that's cool. But yeah, I was getting nervous that he was starting to kind of fall off and not like doing it.
Yeah.
So him getting promoted, and I think that's another component of it as well, is they start to see that in kids, and they're like, we need to give them a little
something to motivate them.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
But otherwise, it's been
How was Apple's first day?
great. She's a natural.
She liked it?
Never said that about any of my kids with anything, but I feel like if she continues with this, she'll be a fucking monster.
Really?
Dude, she was there. That class, they were showing them how to pull guard, and she figured it out like her second time.
Really?
It was, and obviously pulling guard's not hard, but
yeah.
that's a component of all of it. And she just sent it. And then they were laying next to their partner, and Matthew, the instructor that day, was like, okay, so now you guys have to fight to get on top, like fight to get mount, and keep fighting until I say stop. And Apple was just mount,
Really?
just like holding the girl she was rolling with down.
She was going against girls.
And she rolled with, I don't know, did she roll with, I don't know if she rolled with a boy or not.
She got those long limbs, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, she really liked it. She had fun, and it seems like something she's going to really do well in.
And
So
is she just going to go once a week, or she's going to go Monday, Tuesday?
their kids are going to go Monday, Tuesday. All three
Nice.
of them. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting the itch to go back, but I don't want to get hurt,
Yeah.
you know? And I've got a good rhythm right now. And as much as I would love to go and get choked out every 30 seconds, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
But then saying that out loud, I can feel the bitch energy. So maybe I'll go Friday.
Sunday night, we were having dinner over at our long lost brethren's house. Yeah, we had dinner over at Marin's house.
Which I love their house. How did you feel about their house? Dude.
Oh, it sucked. What do you think I'm just going to say?
No, I just
of
mean,
course, it was
obviously
awesome.
everything is too small for my family, but I loved everything
No, it
about
was
that
great.
house. The
I thought-
backyard,
yeah.
that little hibachi grill he has.
Yes, it was a super sick house. And we were over there, and obviously he's not from here. He's Belgian, French, or whatever else. And so we were just talking, getting to know each other, talking about stuff. You guys watch any shows? What movies do you like? What are your favorite movies? And then obviously it brought us to the topic of what our favorite movies are. So we kind of started throwing some stuff out. And then I was like, dude, let's save this for the pod. And let's go over, let's put together a list and do our top 5 movies. Now, I don't know about you, but trying to figure out your top 5 favorite movies, this is obviously something that people bring up to you when you're a kid. Oh, what's your favorite movie? Stuff like that. It's not really necessarily a topic that you discuss regularly
Yeah.
now. So trying to wrap your head around every movie that you've seen and what your top 5 would be is damn near impossible. But I kind of, we both said we were going to go over it. So we kind of did a little research, started to think of our, different genres, different actors, and we tried to compile a list of top 5 for you. So we're going to get into, kind of some that we chose from. We obviously are not just going to go right into the 5. We'll go over
we'll do a little back and
honorable
forth.
mentions and stuff that we were considering, and then we'll unveil the
When
the
you
top
were
5.
thinking about your favorite movies, did you find that you were did you start thinking about memorable movies, or was it I'm thinking about comedies that I've seen that I really liked, or
Yeah.
action movies
Yeah.
that I've seen? How did you break it out?
It was tough, dude. I was like, first, I was just thinking of, okay, what movies have I seen like the most? What
Okay.
movies have I seen like a ton of times that I can remember every line to,
Yeah.
like that type of thing. And then I was like, well, those aren't necessarily my favorite. Maybe those are just like convenient or whatever. So then I started to go through different genres. Okay, what are some of the comedies I like? Then what helped me, I feel like maybe even the most, is I started to think about who my favorite actors are. And then, or for instance, spoiler alert, like writer, director, Quentin Tarantino. Like
never heard of him.
all of Tarantino's movies are essentially my favorite, you know, I could list every one of those. So then I was like, okay, of those, which are the top ones? And then, of my favorite actors, which are my favorite of their movies?
Yeah.
And dude, when you actually start and you like, maybe even if you like look up like top thrillers of all time and or top action movies or top comedies, and you like start to compile a list,
Right.
you can get to 50 in like 5 minutes.
No,
dude.
it did not take me very long to be 5 times past what we had said we needed to do. When you sit down and think about it, obviously there's 10 shitty movies made every year,
Yeah.
but every so often there's just good stuff. But I also feel like we both grew up in an era where like really good movies are being made now,
Yeah.
but there's
that was-
something about the, obviously 90s, anything was pretty good for the most part. And then 2000s was a great era for comedies.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before.
Well, that's what was difficult too. So I definitely tried to tailor my list towards, it's my list. I'm not saying what the top 5 movies of all time are.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not like,
Right.
for you might be, or somebody listening to this might be like, how could you not have this and whatever, that's your preference.
Sure.
This is kind of like nostalgia movie that I've seen that I just absolutely I'm drawn to, or, like I said, for instance, like, this will probably be in my top 5, Big Daddy. Absolutely love Big Daddy.
Top 5 though?
Seen it so many times. I think that's my favorite Sandler movie. He's done so many good. I mean, Billy Madison, of course. But Big Daddy, I feel like, is such a good complement of serious and funny. And I love it. And I just know all the lines. And it was like my time frame.
Yeah.
So like for me, realistically, like even 90s movies are a little like tough
That's true.
because I was born in 90.
That's
so there
true.
are 90s movies that I have on the list.
Right.
But like really like mid to that, like 2005 when I'm like 15, those are like when I'm actually seeing and remembering
Hangover,
and knowing
super bad.
all of them.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
yeah, let's get into it though. Why don't you go first? Kind of
Do you want to
name
read my list?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Read it. Like, it doesn't have to just be like,
Yeah.
but read it
Okay.
and we'll have a little back and
in no
forth.
particular order. End of watch.
Okay.
Back to the Future Part 1. That's important. Part 2 and Part 3. Part 1.
Okay.
Seen it hundreds of times. Dumb and Dumber. Super bad. The Hangover. Interstellar. Phone Booth.
Is that the one with
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell? That's
and
fantastic.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay. Yep.
Inside Man.
Okay.
Training Day. 300.
Nice.
The Dark Knight. Reservoir Dogs. There Will Be Blood. The Sixth Sense.
Damn. Nice one.
Saving Private Ryan. Con Air.
Dude, this is fantastic.
Break.
Let's just stop. Oh,
Yep.
okay. There's a lot on here that aren't on mine. So that's good. A ton, actually.
Point Break. Star
one-
Wars.
Point
The
Break
Empire
is on
Strikes
mine.
Back.
Okay.
Hurt Locker. The Hurt Locker.
Okay.
And American Gangster.
That's what you came
But I
up
have
with.
I have one more honorable mention. It is another M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village.
Nice.
With Joaquin Phoenix. Now that I'm thinking about Joaquin Phoenix, The Joker.
Joker.
It has
Yep,
to be on the
yep,
list.
Yep.
And Walk the Line. with Reese Witherspoon. That is also on the list. Needs to be out on the list.
You're forgetting one that you said that you needed to add in the car.
One that I said.
Once Upon a Time.
Oh, yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But that's a problem with this, dude.
Yeah,
It's just,
okay.
It's like every movie I've ever seen that I liked. No, this is like,
yeah.
So now,
I mean, those movies are fantastic. Those are great.
yes.
And there's some in there that I haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't think I've ever seen Con Air.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
And I don't think
okay.
I don't think I've seen Walk the Line either. I know it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, dude. Well, you think Con Air is a whole nother genre, like Nick Cage movies. You've got Face Off with John Travolta. That's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And that's probably where you, being born in 90, like these are movies I was watching.
Well,
when I
and
was like
another thing is, I mean, realistically, I think probably my parents were a little more strict with this, growing up watching movies. So I, like how you're raising your kids, I probably wasn't allowed to watch. I could have seen some of these movies when I was 10, but wasn't allowed to. Whereas I think you didn't have that restriction, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell this story
because you're
I don't know
only
if I'm gonna. I might edit it out, but I remember I was still living with my dad, and this was in the era of VHS tapes, and there was a VHS tape in, like, we had one of those little slide out drawer things that the videotapes went in, and so we had like whatever movies that we had as kids, like Ninja Turtles and Three Ninjas and Homeward Bound and all the kid, but then there was one in there that was like a
Homeward Bound, shout out. That was a good one.
It was like that videotape like sticker that you would write the name of the movie, and it was the Dirty Dozen, which is a famous Robert De Niro war movie. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Pop it in the VCR. Definitely wasn't the Dirty Dozen.
It was a different
kind of Dirty Dozen. So, yep, I quickly ejected that movie and went outside and skateboarded because.
Oh, sure you did.
Oh, I did. I didn't, dude. That made me so nervous.
Yeah.
At that point,
the Dirty Dozen.
Oh, so and then
keep this video in.
It wasn't until later in life that I knew that the Dirty Dozen was actually a movie. So every time I saw, like, oh, the Dirty Dozen is on like NBC, I'm like, how the hell is the Dirty Dozen on NBC?
That's funny.
And then I learned that it was actually a war movie and not a porno. So pretty funny. But we will leave that in. That was, that's good.
That just reminded me of, and it's not at all the same, but just like not having no idea at the time and being scared and then realizing later. We had, when my grandma lived at our house, she definitely had a drinking problem. And being a young kid, I would go out to the fridge in the garage and look for snacks or whatever. And I remember there was an open Sprite out there, and I was just like stoked out of my mind. Grabbed an open Sprite, start chugging it, and it instantly just burns the hell out of my throat. And we had, I can't remember which car we had, whether it was hers or maybe it was like Sarah's. What did Sarah have? Her first car, what was that called again? A Falcon. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I just drank like oil or something. Like they put this soda under the car because it was dripping oil, and I just chugged oil or gas or something. And later found out that was my grandma's liquor hidden in a Sprite can to keep away from my mom knowing, and I just chugged it as like a 10-year-old. So that was cool. Do
you know what Zima is? Zima is like a clear beer. Came out in like the early 90s. My mom worked, which is ironic. Maybe that's why I hated beer for so long, but my mom worked for Budweiser, like Budweiser distributing. So she would always bring home like weird like beers and stuff. And I remember they would drink Zima. It was like very popular, but it's a clear, complete, looks like water. It's a very similar story. I walked out to the kitchen, bottle of what looked like water sitting on the table, and I go to drink it, and it's fucking Zima. It's just like some bullshit light beer.
Yeah.
Tastes like ass. And that could have been why I never wanted to drink beer until yesterday.
That's funny.
All right, hit me with your list.
Okay. So I have more on my list than you because I just went into it. And I'm surprised that you didn't do some of them because I think we're going to have a completely different top 5, which is great for the viewership. But here's my list that I put together in no particular order.
And we will be summarizing it into a top 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Shawshank, Fight Club,
fuck.
The Departed, Inglourious Bastards, Wolf of Wall Street, Drive, Crazy Stupid Love, Prisoners, Happy Gilmore, the first Fast and Furious, The Town, Training Day, Point Break, Primal Fear,
Damn.
Panic Room,
I would like to redo my list. Panic Room with Jodie Foster.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Django, Gangs of New York, Contraband with Mark Wahlberg. I love that movie. I've seen that movie so many times where he's like a drug runner.
Never seen it.
Oh, that one's really good. The Village, Signs,
Fuck, Signs. What the hell is my problem?
Billy Madison, Big Daddy, Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Step Brothers, Elf.
Elf.
Yeah, I love Elf. I've seen Elf 1,000 times. Now this is like the list of my favorites, but it's not going to make top 5. Okay, now I put together a little list of like ones when I was a kid that I really reminisce about that I love. Okay, Little Giants, Heavyweights. Heavyweights is an all-timer. Yeah, you remember that with Ben Stiller, Fat Camp? Yep. That movie was so funny. Yep. All the Mighty Ducks, Home Alone 1 and 2, Three Ninjas, and The Mask. The Mask honestly might be on my top 5. I've seen that movie so many times. I thought Cameron Diaz was the hottest thing ever as like a 10-year-old. Jim Carrey is hilarious in that. That movie is amazing.
Damn, dude.
Here we go. Rounding out the end of the list. Napoleon Dynamite, Baby Driver. I love Baby Driver. American Beauty, Gladiator, Forrest Gump, Joker, the Christian Bale Batmans, 300, and
well, you can't say the Christian Bale Batmans.
The second two,
not the first one.
Not the first one.
Really?
Yeah, the first one's with Scarecrow. That's not my favorite. Joker and Bane are so it's the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises. Batman Beginning is the first one with him.
With Christian Bale, it is the Joker. It's the first one.
No, the Joker is the second one. Scarecrow is the first bad guy.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's like when he's becoming Batman. It's really not that great of one.
That's the one that Liam Neeson's in.
Yes, and
that's right.
Scarecrow is
the Dark Knight is the one that has the Joker in it.
Yes, and then the Dark Knight Rises is Bane. It's Scarecrow is the the guy from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, guy's a fucking stud.
So 300, and then Law Abiding Citizen.
Gosh, dude.
So
see here, this is
they're all. I mean,
this is the problem.
That's like a ton. That's obviously so many.
There's a couple on there that I wouldn't put on mine, but I like Law Abiding Citizen should be on my list, and it isn't. And that's the problem with this, dude. Because Law Abiding Citizen is getting added to my list and probably in my top 5.
It's so good, dude.
Fuck me.
I love Law Abiding Citizen.
Okay, so we need to. This is we have to categorize this in some form because I feel like there's so many of those movies that you said that need to be on my list. Like I didn't Driver with Drive with what's his face? Gosling. Baby Driver's a great one.
Baby Driver is great. And so like that,
The Departed. Prisoners. Fuck.
Prisoners is there. I had to do like one. I'm not major into thrillers or anything, or not necessarily scary, but Primal Fear and Prisoners are two that are like super creepy and fantastic. Now, like I said, people would throw out like movies like Heat and Casino and stuff like that are kind of before my time. Like even Gangs of New York, I've only probably seen that once or twice. It's fantastic. I wanted to throw it on the list because it is a great movie. I love Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's not going to make my top 5.
Well, the thing that makes that movie great is it became like an iconic movie.
Yeah.
The movie itself isn't that good.
It's pretty good. The acting,
right.
And you just think like that's, like Daniel Day-Lewis is now known as one of the best actors ever and that role that he played. But there's...
Well, I think dude, that's interesting because you said so many of the movies that I didn't include on my list that I should have. And yeah. Damn.
Okay, so I'll actually give us the top 5, but I'm going to break it down a little bit. So like I was saying, so Quentin Tarantino, I think it was during COVID, Sip and I did like a run where we watched every single one of them. I had already seen some of them. I don't know if she had seen any, but we watched them all. Those are, it's like I think he's done 9 so far. They're all...
He said he was only going to do 10.
Yeah, they're all fantastic.
Django, dude.
Pulp Fiction, everybody loves. But of that, Inglourious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Django are my top 3 of his.
Top 3 of his, not top 5.
Well, those are my top 3 of his. And if so I'm not going to
You've seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yes, of course. I'm not going to throw them all in my top 5. So honestly, if I had to say my favorite
Tarantino
of that would make my top 5 is Inglourious Bastards. I
really
love that movie. That
favorite
one is
Tarantino
great.
movie for me is Reservoir Dogs.
That one's great. Don't get me wrong. That one's great.
I had that thought when I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was literally standing up on my seat cheering when he's spoiler alert, just
smashing her head into the wall.
Dude, I was just like,
the phone. It was amazing.
I was like, well, Reservoir Dogs just got dethroned.
But and I love the time frame of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I just love the wardrobe. I love the cars. I love the houses. I love the whole aesthetic of the movie.
I also love the plot of that movie, how it's what would happen if Manson had gotten murdered instead of
but that's that's
killing
like what he
Sharon
did to
Tate.
That's what they did to Hitler.
No, I know. And I love his take on taking historical things and what happened if kind of a thing.
So that's great. Now
do we know what the 10th movie is? If it's being talked about, if it's...
They've talked about, there's been some different rumors of like maybe like a second movie of one that he's done and stuff like that. Kind of like how he did Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Never seen those.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Those are great. Jackie Brown is another one of his that's really good. But yeah, so those are all great. Now absolutely love Ryan Gosling. Always have. Crazy Stupid Love is probably my favorite rom-com ever.
There's a whole, that's a whole
but I'm not
discussion
going to even
itself.
put that into a top 5, but he's going to be on my list. Place Beyond the Pines, I didn't even mention. I love that movie, but Drive makes my top 5. Drive.
I got to rewatch that one.
So insanely good. Mm-hmm. The fact that he barely speaks throughout the whole movie and his character is like absolutely unbelievable, is not to mention he's as handsome as they come, dude. And that movie is fantastic. So Drive makes my top 5. So right now I've got Inglourious Bastards and Drive.
That's on your top 5?
Those are 2 in my top 5.
So we're getting into your top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then we'll break down the actual top 5. I'm going to throw in The Departed. The Departed makes my top 5.
Damn, bro.
I love The Departed. So that one's... Leonardo DiCaprio is another one of my favorite actors.
Titanic wasn't on either of our lists.
No, it was not.
I feel like it should be. I'm going to add it to my list. Not top 5, but it's on the list. I saw that movie with my mom and my brother at the theater next to Trabuco Hills High School. Titanic. In the movies. I saw it with my mom.
You told her that you're going to go home and paint a French woman?
Correct.
Paint you like a French lady?
It was the most awkward thing ever because obviously there's a scene in there with DiCaprio and
What's her name again?
Kate Winslet. And he's obviously painting her nude. And I'm just like sitting there in the theater, just like...
So funny.
And then I'm like crying at the end and my brother's laughing at me and he's just like, you're so gay, bro. Like, what's your problem? It's like, sorry, I'm sensitive.
Okay, so right now I have 3. The Departed, Inglourious Bastards, and Drive. Now, like I said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Django, those both could be in there, but I'm going to keep them out. If I wanted to just do based on nostalgia, honestly, The Mask could be in there. I'm going to keep it out for purposes of good movies, but that movie I absolutely love.
Before you get into the last 2 of your top 5, I have to, is this rewatchability why they're on your top 5? Because that is when I'm thinking top 5.
True.
I'm thinking Desert Island movies.
Yeah, I know that that's like a thing. I could watch those a ton, so they're just in there too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna have to throw in. You know what I didn't say, and what I always said when I was younger as my favorite movie, Remember the Titans. I've always just answered with that, like as like a no-brainer. That movie is.
They didn't talk about any sports movies.
So good.
Rookie
you could do the
Year.
Rocky movies. Are all very good.
Yeah.
Miracle, the hockey movie.
Angels in the
Team
Outfield.
USA. Dude, like there's a lot. Gladiator.
Moneyball.
The Jokers are good. 300.
Boiler Room.
All right. I'm gonna.
Okay, so
here's my top 5.
Top 5.
It.
All right, Jamie, pay attention.
Okay, and this isn't in order. It's just 1 through 5. It's not.
That's fine. That's fair.
Okay. The Departed, Inglourious Bastards, Drive. I'm going to throw in Law Abiding Citizen. I absolutely love that movie. And then we're just going to go one funny based on.
That's more than 5.
No, I've only done 4 so far.
Okay.
I was going to say Big Daddy. That was going to be on my 5th, but I'm calling a last second audible. Number 5 is Superbad.
Okay.
So top 5, The Departed, Inglourious Bastards, Drive, Law Abiding Citizen, and Superbad.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough, man. That is tough.
Yeah, dude. Damn. I got to think for a second.
Dude, Superbad? Are you kidding me? The amount of lines in Superbad?
No, without question, Superbad is in my top 5. Like
it's so
but
funny.
The problem with 2 movies in your top 5 is that Law Abiding Citizen is in my top 5, and so is Superbad.
That's fine.
The other
That's fine.
3. Oh man,
bro.
I know.
Plot of Law Abiding Citizen and the revenge that he gets to what they did on the man that, you know, killed his family.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, Jamie Foxx is great in it, but Gerard Butler in that is so good.
Yeah. All right. Top 5. Superbad.
Okay.
Law Abiding Citizen. Interstellar.
Damn, I have not seen Interstellar.
That one's fucking fantastic.
That's crazy. Okay. That's the Matthew McConaughey one?
Yeah. Fuck, this is hard.
Interstellar. Wow. Well, now I know I have to watch that. If it's in your top 5 movies of all time, I have to see it. Okay.
Yeah, have to. And what's great about that movie is I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times. And the last time I watched it recently, I cried again. Like the first time I watched it, I cried.
Dang.
And then I watched it a bunch of other times and didn't have any response to it. But everything about it Hans Zimmer does the score in that movie, and he's a monster, musician. He's done film scores for like every movie ever. He's a beast. And okay, wow. This is way okay. So this is the challenge, and I'll get back to my list, but this is a challenge for you
listeners,
35,000 listeners out there. Also shout out Switzerland. They're on our list now.
Let's go.
People watching. Anyway, you do this. Post it on your social stories. Tag us, Relatively Speaking Podcast.
It is not easy.
And you don't have to rank them. Ranking them is a whole nother thing. We're just trying to get 5 on a list.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my list trying to pick. Okay, so I have 4. I have one more.
No, you only have 3.
No, I said The Martian,
You
Interstellar.
didn't say The
sorry.
Martian.
Interstellar, Superbad, Law Abiding Citizen. So I have 2 more.
Yeah, you have 2 more. That's different than 1 more. 2 more.
There Will Be Blood.
Haven't seen that.
Talk about a sick era, bro.
Haven't seen that. Who the hell is in that?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay.
Paul Dano.
Daniel Day-Lewis. There Will Be Blood. Okay.
Yeah,
is that in the 90s?
No, that's a...
or is that like an 80s?
No, that's... What do you mean? The when it came out?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like newer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, newer. Maybe 2011?
Oh,
I'm not sure. It's new.
Okay.
Newer. It's probably 15 years old at this point now that I'm thinking about it. And then my last movie.
What are we going with? Drum roll.
I had Training Day on there. That's another great Denzel movie with an honorable mention. Would be like a 5.1 would be American Gangster. 2 of my favorite
Training
actors.
Day and American Gangster.
Yeah, you've got...
dude, Man on Fire.
Yeah, but no.
Man on Fire is great.
So my 5th movie... It's either The Hangover or End of Watch.
Oh,
I gotta pick.
Pull the trigger.
I gotta pick. And I think...
We're going to go 2 comedies, potentially.
No, it's End of Watch.
End of Watch.
So my top
really?
5.
End of Watch is great, man.
Interstellar. Law Abiding Citizen. Superbad. And There Will Be Blood. Top 5.
Top 5. You got 2 in there that I have not seen, which is wild. So I have to see those 2.
And I think the thing about the 2 movies that are in my top 5, which probably movies you haven't seen, is because they're the reason I like them. You'll appreciate the reasons why I like them, but the reasons I like them, like why I go back to them is for that. Like I'm not like, oh, the cinematic elements are so like, it's not that, but there's something about them, the way that the music and the score of the movie is married so well to like the actual visual, like the shots that they do, and all of the way they're edited and all of that stuff it's justice. And then obviously you've got Daniel Day-Lewis is an absolute monster character actor, so he becomes the main character in that. And it's just that one you got, dude. That one, put the kids to bed.
Yeah. Okay.
Put The Office on for Sip and watch that one, because that one is a put your fucking seatbelt on.
Really?
It's so fucking good. Oh my God.
Okay. Damn. All right. Yeah, dude. It's
and he just
so
looks
hard.
sick as hell the whole movie. He's got this black, dark mustache.
What time frame is the movie?
It starts in the 1800s and it takes all the way up into like the 1930s. It's like it's his time frame. He starts as like an oil prospector, and he starts looking for gold first, and then the gold rush turns into the oil boom. And
this is Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, that's his character, and then so he becomes like an oil prospector, and the whole plot of the movie is basically how ruthless he becomes to be successful, because he came from nothing, and
love that.
It's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
But it's also unbelievably entertaining. And got to watch that. And you got to watch Interstellar. Interstellar's a little heady. That one will be good for us to watch together.
Okay.
Like, I just watched Interstellar with Finn actually, and he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
That, yeah,
but
I remember. I mean, that one's like relatively new.
it 17.
Yeah. I remember seeing all the stuff for it, and it's like a very long movie, isn't it?
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As most great movies are.
Most Christopher Nolan movies are long as balls.
Yeah, they're that list is wild. So we had 3 of the same.
Yeah.
No, 2 of the same.
2 of the same.
2 of the same.
Yeah. I mean, if Superbad's not on your top 5, just keep walking, sister. Cause that movie, how many times has it been quoted?
It's
Did
unbelievable.
we ask Marin if you've seen Superbad?
Yeah, that's kind of how this got brought up.
And he hasn't seen it.
No.
Bro.
He hadn't seen
Maybe
it.
we watch it after the fight.
Well, the problem is like we were talking about,
The language barrier.
yeah, and not like that he doesn't understand. It's
know,
not
he
even
couldn't-
just the
He
language.
couldn't spell.
That was so good. But no, it's not even the language barrier. A lot of it has to do with like the time frame. Like that came out, I can't remember the year, if you know, but like
I want to say it was
I was, a late
2006.
late teenager, like
2006.
watching that in your teens and early 20s. All the references just hit. It was like what you were going through. It's like McLovin walking through the hallway, just staring at the girl's thong out the back, and she just turns around and just is like, asks him what he's doing, and he just tells her what time it is. Jonah Hill is unbelievable in it.
Blood was also 2007.
Okay. Yeah, so I was like 17.
Was 2014.
So, yeah, dude, it's just
Dang. Yeah. I just think Superbad and then Law Abiding Citizen, especially once you have a family, it's like,
dude, you know what's another one that's fantastic that I just watched that I texted you about? Just watched again. That's not on my list. I was trying to think. As I was saying, so Gosling, one of my favorite actors. Leonardo DiCaprio, one of my favorite. Tom Hardy is one of my favorite actors. Shia LaBeouf is one of my favorite actors. I didn't have
Peanut
any.
Butter Falcon.
I didn't have any of his. Peanut Butter Falcon's fan. Honey Boy is great. Fury is great.
fuck Fury.
But what I was trying to think of, probably my favorite actor is Charlie Hunnam. However,
He hasn't done many good movies.
he hasn't. That's what I was getting
Other than
to.
The
He
Gentleman.
has. Okay, let me speak. He hasn't done. I mean, I love him from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
And he has been in some. I think there's one called Pompeii that is really good that he's in. But yeah, just recently I watched The Gentleman again. That movie is so good. That's like a Fringe top 5 movie because it's just so entertaining.
Fringe top 5.
And there's
nice.
such good.
Yeah.
Like Colin Farrell is fantastic in it. McConaughey is unbelievable in it. And then you get Jax, aka Charlie Hunnam. He's really good in it. And then who's the
We like talking about what?
who's the other guy? I think he's a very famous actor actually. You've seen The Gentleman semi recently. The one that's like framing them the whole time, that's taking the pictures of them, that's like trying to exploit them, that he's like conversing with Jax throughout the whole show. Like throughout the entire thing, he's at like Jax's house, like essentially like
Guy Ritchie.
blackmailing them.
Hugh Grant?
Yeah, Hugh Grant. Yeah, he's a very famous actor. He's really, his character is really, really good in it. That movie is great.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because that one's just like a fun one to watch, entertaining.
Knives Out was another one we didn't. Neither of us talked about.
That one's good, dude.
We don't have any Kevin Costner movies on our list, which is kind of interesting because he's
Same.
made so many good movies.
But Yellowstone, it's like
Yeah. But Field of Dreams,
haven't seen that.
you've never seen
No, I
Field
know
of
that
Dreams.
he's famous from that, but I've never seen that. Is that a baseball movie?
Yes.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Well,
Seen the Rookie.
Okay.
That's with what's his name? The main actor in that. What's that guy's name? You just said you've seen The Rookie too.
The Rookie, like the kid that breaks his arm?
No, that's Rookie of the Year. The Rookie. It's like he's like an old guy that pitches.
Dennis
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
Quaid. I wanted to say Quail.
Dennis Quaid.
Quaid. Yeah. That one.
Costner's been in a bunch of baseball movies, like theme movies. We didn't talk about like McConaughey movies, Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah. I mean, but he's in you covered him. He's Interstellar.
No,
so
I know, but it's just, you start
it.
thinking about actors, you're like,
Yeah.
it's just
Impossible. So
it's impossible.
I
will say this. I appreciated the
forever.
fact that Tom Cruise is nowhere mentioned in any of our spheres,
Yeah.
and that's on purpose. Cause
You got something against Tom Cruise? Doesn't make great movies?
No, he does. I don't know. I just don't like him as a person.
I mean, I would say not most people, but there would be a hell of a lot of people that would put Top Gun in their top
Top
5.
Gun and probably Mission Impossible
Yeah, except for
and all of those. But I don't.
What about all the 007s?
Well, you can't do that.
See?
You can't.
No, not all of them, but I'm saying like there's so many of them. Somebody's, you or whoever, probably has to have a favorite 007, a favorite James Bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Casino Royale is the best one, I think. I think that's...
Was that Daniel Craig's first?
I think that's his first one.
Yeah, we
Might
didn't
be
talk
his
about like
second
the
one.
Bourne series.
Yep. Yeah, no.
I mean,
This could go on for
Matt
forever.
Damon is on my list because of The Martian. He's in The
Departed.
Martian.
He's in The Departed.
And he's in The Departed, but
Dude,
I mean, we didn't talk
another
about
one.
any Robin Williams movies?
Yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Another one that I mentioned in my first list.
What's
but
the one that
a fringe top
Damon
5
and
is The Town, dude. A fringe top 5
yes,
is The Town.
what's the one with Robin Williams and Matt Damon and Ben
Hunting.
Affleck? Good Will Hunting.
Yep. That one, I didn't even mention it. That movie's fantastic, but I've only probably seen that one time. And you just know watching it that this is a great movie. But like I said, I didn't want it just to be like...
You don't know that it's a good movie while you're watching it until you finish it. And then you're like, damn.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this could go on for forever. It's getting a little long going just back and forth. So put together a list. It's a hell of a lot harder. Also, you probably don't have the time to do it, but just try and think of it, post it, comment on our list. Let us know what you think. Are we total kooks for these top 5? Are you understanding of the top 5? Are you enraged by the top 5?
We're looking for engagement.
Yeah.
We want you to tell us that
Let
you
us know.
think we're
Let us know.
struggling to comprehend what a good movie is.
Yeah.
So,
But we'll be back next week. Did we lock down a guest? A potential
TBD.
a fringe guest?
A fringe guest.
Yeah.
TBD.
So hopefully next week we'll be back with a third chair here for you guys.
Yeah.
But until then, enjoy your weekend. Sip a nice cold American.
Shout out.
Tag the boys. Enjoy your time. Marin's coming with us on a 10-mile run on Saturday, so let's hope he knows what he's getting into. And we'll see you next week.
Later.
Bye, guys.